Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh
Good morning, everyone. Today is Thursday, April the 20th, 2023. I want to ask you guys a question. I actually want to put a poll. I'm going to go ahead and put up a poll, and I want to know how many of you guys are actually concerned about the advancement of AI, which is artificial intelligence. Let me go ahead and add that into the poll right now. And you guys, as you come into the live, please hit that like button because, I've had a couple of subscribers. And I was talking to a brother yesterday and I was live and he didn't even know I was live. And he's just like, man, I got no alert, no nothing. I think he had to refresh his screen and scroll and all of that just to see that, hey, I was actually live. And it didn't pop up to maybe about, 10, 15 minutes after I had cut the live stream. So if you guys would please hit that like button. So let me go ahead and ask this question in the poll. Are you concerned about the advancement of AI? Because it seems like that this is kind of getting a little out of hand. I think that even Elon Musk himself is saying that um, this advancement of artificial intelligence is becoming quite dangerous. And not because these machines have a mind of their own per se, but as those who actually program these particular artificial intelligence, uh, you know, thingies, I guess. People who are actually coding and creating this artificial intelligence, to give these responses and all of this stuff. It just depends on who's programming it, is what the major concern is, right? So let's get ready to get into this article. I thought it was pretty interesting. I kind of read through this a little bit, and the title is Elon Musk says Google co founder wanted to build AI quote unquote digital god. All right. Will the net result of artificial intelligence be the creation of a digital deity? Billionaire tech mogul Elon Musk revealed in an interview with Tucker Carlson that Google co-founder, I'm sorry, man, I'm getting tongue tied early in the morning. Co-founder Larry Page once told him he hoped to build an AI super intelligence that Musk describes as a quote unquote digital god. According to the 51-year-old Musk, the exchange occurred when he stayed at Page's home in Palo Alto, California, when the two were quote unquote close friends. Quote, I will talk to him late into the night about AI safety. And at least my perception was that Larry was not taking AI safety seriously enough, Musk said, adding that Page wanted a quote, digital super intelligence, basically a digital god, if you will, as soon as possible, end quote. Now, a man looking for another god. Yeah, my blood. Listen, I'll get with you. I'll get with you offline. Um, yeah, I'm trying to stay on topic right now. Um, but yeah, back to the article. A lot of people, since the beginning of time, have tried to make God in their own image. That's just the nature of man. When man wants to reject God, he makes God in his own image. That is what false gods are. That is what false religions are. Since you don't like the parameters that has been set by God, you as a man, you try to turn around and make God in your own image, a God that you're comfortable with. So, it really doesn't surprise me that these tech giants and all of these super smart people are going to try to make their own version of God. Let's continue. Musk pointed to a number of public statements made by Page over the years, showing that, quote, the whole goal of Google is what's called AGI, artificial general intelligence, or artificial super intelligence, end quote. That's why I think that even I just find it really weird about like these algorithms and all of this stuff here. Um, because Google, I mean, you can just and I was talking to somebody about this the other day, where let's just say if I want to look up maybe like some basketball stats, I just want to see what the scores were the night before from the basketball games. And for the rest of the day, as I'm scrolling through social media, anything that's connected to Google, I'll just get all of these basketball, recommendations. They'll be giving me, do you want to know what the stats were for Michael Jordan when he played in this game in this year on this day versus LeBron James and X, Y, and Z. And then as soon as I look up something Christian, it just seems like that I get recommended everything else except Christian content. And if I do get like some Christian content recommendations, it'll be something like TD Jakes or Joel Osteen or something like that. It's kind of funny how that works. Page, who along with co-founder Sergey Brin stepped down from the search giant in 2017, once told a London tech conference audience back in 2006 that his grand vision for search begins and ends with AI. Quote, the ultimate search engine will understand everything in the world. It will understand everything that you asked it and give you back the exact right thing instantly, Page said at the Zeitgeist '06 event in London. Since then, Google has accelerated efforts to incorporate AI, starting with its $500 million acquisition of DeepMind, a London based AI research lab, in 2014. So these guys are spending hundreds, hundreds of millions of dollars, close to billions of dollars on this whole AI thing. And this is what kind of got me concerned too, because I mean, you're pouring this type of money into this digital artificial intelligence stuff. I'm just like, what is the end game? What is the end game? I don't know. It's just it's just really puzzling to me, because I mean, I think $500 million could really do. Uh, I think it could really do some really great things in certain parts of the world and in certain communities. So I don't know, man. Let's continue to read. Following the success of ChatGPT, Google is set to debut a version of its search engine with a chatbot sometime this year, according to New York Times. Musk said at the time of the convention with Page, Google had already made the DeepMind acquisition and, quotes, had about 3/4 of all the AI talent in the world, end quote. Mm. So we already know that Google, I mean, they got Gmail, they got YouTube, What else do they got? They got a whole bunch of other stuff. They got Nest. So it's just me. I'm a tech guy. I love tech stuff. I'm a real techie guy. I love gadgets and artificial intelligence to a certain degree, to a certain point. But I think that when you're trying to copy the mind of a thinking human being, or you're trying to get a computer to succeed that of the human mind, the complex human mind, I think you're really treading in dangerous water. I really, really do. And now with these people thinking that they're going to have this quote unquote digital God, that is pretty alarming to me. Um, just in of itself, I would say, because you think that an artificial intelligence is going to supersede that of the complex mind of the human brain. It is going to be able to tell me what decisions I should make for myself as a human. But again, it's not the artificial intelligence itself. It is the people who actually program these things. What is their mindset like? And majority of these people don't even believe in the one and only true God. So anything that goes against that type of thinking of the one and only true God, that's what's going to be put into the programming. And with all of the stuff that they have to track to track people nowadays, I mean, could this be another form of Christian persecution to where they can use this information and technology to track down those who believe in Jesus Christ, those who profess the gospel? He also recalled Page's reaction when he warned him about the potential dangers of AI superintelligence. And here's the thing, Elon Musk is not even a Christian. He's not a Christian, and he's just like, yo, there's some dangerous stuff going on with this artificial intelligence. I think we really need to be careful. So I'm like, when you got a pagan, a non-believer saying that, hey, this is a slippery slope, I think that even us as Christians, we need to even pay more attention to that. Quote, I agree with him that there's great potential for good, but there's also potential for bad, Musk told Carlson. And so, if you got some radical new technology, you want to try to make a set of actions that maximize the probability that it will do good and minimize the probability that it would do bad things. Almost sounds like one of those sci-fi movies where the where machines and stuff take over. Especially what was that? Terminator. What was the whole story about around Terminator? They had created this super AI, super artificial intelligence, and it just started launching nuclear missiles at different countries, and other countries was launching nuclear missiles back, and it just kind of just destroyed the world. Same thing that happened in the Matrix, right? You know, um, people trying to come up with all of this super artificial intelligence, and they ended up destroying the planet in the Matrix. So therefore, people had to be plugged into this alternate reality or something like that. So, kind of make you think: how accurate are those movies? you know, I'm not telling y'all to go back and start watching Terminator and the Matrix, but I don't know. It kind of makes you think, man. It kind of makes you think: are we here? But when Musk reminded Page about the responsibility to, quote, make sure that humanity is okay, Musk said Page called him a, quote unquote, speciesist. Man, people got terms for everything. They got a term for everything. Quote, did he use that term? Carlson said, quote, yes. And there were witnesses. I wasn't the only one there when he called me a speciesist, Musk replied. And so I was like, okay, that's it. Yes, I'm a speciesist. Okay, you got me. The remark reportedly came during an argument between the two moguls at a party in Napa Valley in 2015, according to Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, Professor Mark Tagmark, who recalled the conversation in his book, Life 3.0, Being Human in the Age of Artificial Intelligence. According to the book, page warned that AI, quote, AI paranoia would delay the digital utopia and or cause a military takeover of AI that will fall foul of Google's don't be evil slogan, end quote. Tegmark wrote, quote, at times Larry accused Elon of being speciesist, treating certain life forms as inferior just because they were silicone based rather than carbon based. End quote. Speciesism is defined by PETA and other animal ethics groups as quote unquote a supremacist view that means humans are superior to animals and all other species. So I guess humans are not superior to animals and all other species like the Bible says. So again, this is really not an attack on AI. It's not an attack on human beings. It's an attack against God. That's what it all boils down to foundationally. So a lot of times, that's why I tell people, we don't fight against flesh and blood. We fight against spirits and principalities. So this whole idea of coming up with this quote unquote digital God, and then to turn around and call a person a species to say that, well, I'm no different from an animal, which is ironic because the same people who make these claims about calling people species and saying that we're no different from animals, like I'm no different from a dog or a cat or something like that. These are the same people who have created the worst atrocities in human history. When you look at um, these scientists, these people who in the 1920s in Australia, who was so convinced that darker skinned people, black people, the indigenous people of Australia and those islands, they were so convinced that these people were the missing link between human and apes. And what did they do? Round up as many people as they could, and they killed them and dissected them like animals, all in the name of science, to only come to what conclusion? Oh, these people are just human, but they just have different phenotypes. Their skin is darker, nose may be a little wider, hair is a little kinkier. But when you take all of that away, these people are just as human as anyone else. All in the name of science. Because when you have to minimize God's creation and you have to minimize human life, that's all that's needed to start creating stuff like genocide, racism. Let's continue. Earlier this year, Musk announced he was putting together a research team to combat what he has termed the quote unquote deadly threat of woke AI. And that's what I was talking about. Let's read what woke AI is. I'm sorry. Musk reached out to a select group of quote artificial intelligence researchers in recent weeks about forming a new research lab to develop an alternative to ChatGPT, end quote, according to the information. Now, to me, what is this alternative to ChatGPT is going to look like? Because I mean, it sounds nice. Yeah, we need to combat this woke version of ChatGPT and artificial intelligence. But what does that look like? Is it going to have a biblical foundation? You see what I'm saying? Because if it's not, if it doesn't have a biblical foundation, you're basically you're just the other side of the same coin. You're just the other side of the same coin, and it really doesn't matter because you're going to end up inputting your ideologies and your beliefs into that same style of chat GPT, and if it's not founded on biblical principles, on what God has established already, then like I said, you're just doing the same old thing. You may not have a woke version, you may have a conservative version. And let's be honest, being conservative versus woke, that has caused some atrocities too. What do you think the Holocaust was about? The Holocaust wasn't ran by a bunch of woke folks, all inclusive folks. It's ran by people who was very conservative about preserving Germany and preserving German culture, preserving a certain race. It's I mean it's the same thing. So that's why we have to be concerned, just as we are concerned about liberalism and wokeism and all of that. We have to be just as concerned about conservatism, because it can go far left as well. All right, let's go ahead and finish this. In December, the founder of PayPal, Tesla, SpaceX, and other ventures warned about the potential risk in the rise of AI tools like ChatGPT, which Musk tweeted as one example of quote unquote training AI to be woke. And that is the end of this particular article. So let me go ahead and see what you guys said in the chat. There are some people, 71% of you said that you are not concerned about the advancement of AI. And only 29% of you guys said that you are concerned about the advancement of AI. So if you guys have not voted, go ahead and vote right there in the chat section, before we get ready to get up out of here, to let me know, are you concerned about this advancement of AI? And like I said before, there are certain things that do concern me, but there are certain things that don't concern me and I would like to see advanced. Like I said, I love gadgets, I love technology. um I mean, I'm just amazed and astonished of how far technology has come just within the past 20 years, heck, even the past 10 years. And it seems like that we are making very, very rapid advancements in technology. I mean, some of these things I used to think about when I was a kid, like, man, I used to love those movies about the future, and seeing how things were like so digital and so autonomous. I used to love science fiction movies about that, and still to a degree, I still enjoy them. You know, I do like a lot of science fiction movies and shows and things of that nature. But then at the same time, I don't really think about, or I didn't think about until now, of how those advancements are becoming, number one, a reality in our society today, and who's behind the programming of these things. And I think that is what is concerning me. And that's why I wanted to bring this article out, because when we're looking at who is in Silicon Valley, who is coming up with these particular, um, who's coming up with this particular technology, like what is their mindset, to kind of go back to that, like what is the mindset behind the person who has invented these things, or who programs these programs for Google, for Chat GPT? Who is behind that? What is their foundation? Are these people who believe that we're just all animals, that there is really no intrinsic value to human life, that we just happen to be here? Because we all know how propaganda works. We're already seeing it in the media and in social media. So imagine you build some super intelligent artificial intelligence, and you promote it as this thing that has just great fast knowledge, and you turn around and you promote that to the public, and then when people want to know about the gospel, People want to know the truth about Christ, the truth about church history. Will that information be biased, or will that information be throttled to a certain degree, like the way that they throttle certain people on these social media platforms? Like I said at the beginning of this particular live stream, um, my YouTube channel has been getting throttled. And I can kind of point to around the time where I started to see the throttling taking place. I remember, I think there was maybe one video that I could probably think of when I really started to notice that my channel was getting throttled, was when I touched on the uh, pedophiles trying to become a part of the LGBTQ community. And of course, they got a lot of pushback from the LGBTQ community because they didn't want to be associated with that. And I remember I covered a video about that, and there was a few topics that I covered about some of the things that were happening in the LGBTQ community concerning children. And I remember my YouTube channel just for some reason just stopped growing. It just stopped growing. It was like, my numbers or my views just started going down. It was like my channel was just buried. People just wasn't, people were like, man, I didn't even know that you were still uploading videos, because they weren't getting any notifications. People had to come back to my YouTube channel daily just to check and see if I was still making content. So if these same type of people who control things like YouTube and these other social media platforms, and they have this whole algorithm system, and they are now coming out with this quote unquote digital AI God, I mean, what does the future look like for Christians who are spreading the gospel? And I'm seeing some of these numbers go up. So it's almost half people are concerned about AI, and half of the people are really not concerned. So right now we got 44% of people saying that they are concerned, and only 56 are saying that they are not concerned about the advancement of AI. But anyway, you guys, here's the good news. Here's the good news. The Lord's will is going to be done either way. That's point blank, period. God is sovereign, and God is going to work all of this out for his glory. And that is what the saints of old believed. Even when times of like great persecution that we can't even imagine today, and there are some people who are still going through great persecution in different parts of the world, they know that God is going to work all of this out for his glory. And he's sovereign. So although while we're living this, and we may think that the light at the end of the tunnel is dim, God has already worked this out. But since it's not for us to try to figure out and try to combat, we're not here to try to combat the culture, to come up with a different alternative for the culture. We're here to preach the gospel and to spread the gospel, because it's always been effective, and it's the only thing that is effective, even if we don't see it firsthand. God is working. He's going to continue to work. We need to continue to keep just keep our country, keep this world in prayer. Those around us, those things still work. I don't care what anyone says. It's been working since the beginning of time, and it's going to continue to work now. And as Christians, we need to continue to stand firm on the faith. All right, guys. So as I get ready to get up out of here, you guys, hit that like button, rate, share, subscribe, hit that notifications bell, and also let me know what you guys think about this conversation in the chat section. Let me know. Are you guys really concerned about this, or are you guys not? And with that, I will see you guys next time, Lord willing.